This is our day trip to France. Dad and I went in October 2008. So this is very early in Dover in England. This is the shortest crossing point between France and England, sea crossing. And on this day we went to Dunkirk. This is my dad, Jerry. This was probably about 7:15 in the morning. So we're waiting to get on the boat. And this is loading up. And Norfolk Line, who we went on this trip with, will take a lot of trucks. You can see all these trucks coming in. There's just a lot. It seems to be a never-ending supply of trucks. So it's amazing how they fit it all in. And finally we get away. I was shooting most of these sea shots from the back of the boat because this is about the only place you can shoot now, because you can't walk around the sides. So this is exiting Dover, and there's this continual stream of boats coming and going. Calais and Dunkirk. Yeah, see France, they go to Calais. Yeah, see another one there, just departing. In the distance there, you can just about see France. And this is the world famous White Cliffs of Dover. Not probably seen at their best on this day, but impressive. And the blue sky and a nice day, very beautiful. So just a final look back at Dover and England. The actual crossing takes 2 hours, so we had plenty of time to have a look round on the boat. It wasn't too busy, and basically we had a leisurely breakfast and had a look round the shops, and I took a bit more footage, which is coming up in a moment. This is us sailing past Calais, where most of the boats go to. Yeah, you can see here the port of Calais, a bit wobbly because I was using a zoom. So Dunkirk's about probably another 15 miles, I guess. And this is us coming in. I've taken more shot at the ends of the day rather than here, because the weather was a lot better at the end. But you get a brief glimpse, and you can see how industrialised it is. This is almost like something out of Blade Runner, isn't it? But look, the beaches are pretty nice here, so you know, if you make the effort to come out here, beautiful beaches. So this is Marly-les-Bains, which is on the eastern part of Dunkirk. And as you can see, we're about the only people here on this day. It's a bit out of season. And this is looking back towards the centre of Dunkirk. This is the other part of the port. But it's a beautiful beach actually, and there's lots of restaurants along the side here. So we just decided to walk along the beach and walk along the promenade and take some photos and some film. Tide's well out, and the weather was getting better. You can see the blue skies and the beautiful water. Looking towards, if you carry along this way, eventually you come to the Belgian border. And this is Dad checking out the restaurants. He was hungry by then. This is me doing my, let's just see this at the end of the movie. I'm sorry about this. This is Dad taking the movie, and he's never used the camera before. Yeah, so it's gone a bit Cloverfield-ish. Yeah, see, I look like a bit of a hoodie, but it was quite a windy day. It was quite cold actually. So you see my cost-cutting titles at the end. Here's Dad walking on the beach. Yeah, I was planning to cycle all the way along here. I'll show you in a bit. But if I go, maybe I might go this year. You can cycle all the way along that seafront across the Belgian border. So I might do that ride. It looks pretty good actually, because the cycle path looks excellent. So you can see all the buildings are very Flemish looking buildings, very distinctive. So it's quite interesting to come to this part of France. You can see the tide's starting to come in by the time we walk to the far end. So it's coming in pretty quick, so all my masterpiece has gone. Now if you carry on this way, eventually you come around back to the centre of Dunkirk. We didn't walk that far. We walked the way back looking for a restaurant. So we basically headed back the way we came. The tide was coming in pretty quick now. We were getting hungry. And we just looked for a restaurant. And that's coming up here so you can see where we at. Yeah, it's very reasonable. And we can see out, we were sitting in this glass bit here, you can see out and watching these guys do this kite surfing, which looks really good fun. Actually, Dunkirk looks like a perfect place to do this. So after lunch, that was the end of our time in Marly-les-Bains. So we drove back through central Dunkirk. First time I've been through the city centre. I had been on the outskirts of Dunkirk before. And we headed back to the hypermarket to do a bit of shopping. This is a big one. This is Western Dunkirk, so we can get plenty of beer. And despite Dad having his wallet out there, I actually paid for most of this stuff. And as you can see, I'm quite fond of bottled Coke. I think it's better than the tin stuff. And also the beer keeps me going. So this is actually at the port of Dunkirk now. And the weather was a lot better, so I took the shots of Dunkirk in the evening. And you can see all the Brits here queuing up to go back. Yeah, it's a magic hour, so it looks a lot better than when I came in the morning. The port of Dunkirk is actually a few miles to the west of the main town, so it's well out on its own in this industrialised area. I found out later that Dunkirk is actually the third biggest port in France, so it's not the most picturesque entry to France. But you know, I've used it the last couple of years to come, and when I go down to the south, or I've gone down to Switzerland when I went in 2007. So I find it's a good getaway. Gets you onto the free part of the motorway, and then you can head on to Lille and then back down east of Paris to Reims. So I don't really know this part of France that well. I usually go down to the south or the middle. I do hope to come back to northern France and do some bike riding. I've got some maps. Actually, I bought some maps on this trip, and so I can see some good routes to do. So I might come and do a 4 or 5 day trip in 2009, and I'll film that definitely. Just a few more shots of the boat leaving Dunkirk. So I know what you're thinking, how are you going to end this movie? I think there's only one way to do it, and that's with a rainbow. But there's more. There's my credits here, which I cunningly improvised on the beach. So I hope you enjoy this film.